Sinbad in the Valley of Diamonds. Sinbad, the sailor, lives in the city of Baghdad in the land of Persia. He loves going on adventures to distant lands. Sometimes he caught in dangerous situations, but he always uses his intelligence to escape. During one such voyage, he lands on a desert island, which is home to a strange bird called a roc. Sinbad tries to escape from the island by tying himself to the leg of the bird using his turban cloth. Let us start with the story to know what happens next with Sinbad. The roc was carrying me away over land and sea. Soon we were zooming down at great speed as the sun was setting in the distance. Thud! We hit the ground. I was an enormous snake nearby. Quickly, I untied myself from the roc's leg. Not a moment too soon, the roc pounced on the snake and flew away with it. The roc had brought me to a deep, dark, and narrow valley. The ground was so full of stones that it was hard to walk. All around, on all sides, were high mountains. They were steep, rocky, and impossible to climb. I kicked some of the stones out of my way to make it easier to walk. I saw a sparkle here, a dazzle there. I looked more closely. There were diamonds all over the ground. Just then, I heard a terrible hissing. Not far away, some enormous snakes were slithering out of a big cave. The smallest of the cold-blooded creatures could have swallowed an elephant. In the dark, I looked for a place to hide. I found a cave too small for those giant snakes. I crawled inside and pushed a big rock in front of it. It would keep me safe, but I did not dare to close my eyes. When morning came, the valley was quiet. The snakes had crawled back into their holes. They were hiding from the rock which circled the valley and swooped down from time to time. I came out of my cave. Under my feet lay the sparkling diamonds. I kicked them out of the way. What help could these riches be to me here? Oh, would I ever get out of this valley of snakes? I sat down on a big stone to rest. Suddenly, I heard plop, thud. Someone was throwing enormous pieces of raw meat from high up in the mountains. I carefully observed one of these big chunks of meat and found that some of the diamonds on the ground had stuck to it. I remembered hearing other sailors talk of the Valley of the Diamonds. Where the clever merchants get their diamonds, the merchants throw pieces of meat down into the valley. Some diamonds stick to the meat and are carried by eagles to their nest. The merchants then make a loud noise to scare away the eagles and collect the diamonds. As I looked around again, I wondered if this was the same Valley of Diamonds. Were eagles really going to come and take these pieces of meat? I unwound my turban, and until it was a long stripe of cloth, I stuffed my bag with some fine diamonds. Then I tied an enormous chunk of meat to my back and waited. At last, I heard the flapping of wings. The eagles were coming. An eagle picked up the chunk of meat that was tied to my bag and he carried me with it into the mountains. I was dropped into a nest among the young eagles. Soon I heard shouting and banging. The merchants were making a terrible racket. It scared the big eagles away. One of the merchants came to the nest. He was surprised to see me. He was angry too. "Thief!" he cried. "Are you trying to take away my diamonds?" I told him my story. Then I showed him my bag that was filled with diamonds. I offered him half of them to take me back to Baghdad. "What beautiful diamonds!" cried the merchants. "There isn't a prince in the world who has anything like them. Just give me one of these and I will live well for the rest of my life." Later, other merchants came to me and were amazed by my diamonds. They took me to their ship. and soon we set sail for home.